What if I told you you've never actually met yourself? That the version of you walking around every day is a carefully constructed lie. A lie that you were told by the world, and a lie that you've now started to believe. By the end of this video, you'll understand the most terrifying truth Carl Jung ever uncovered. That your greatest enemy might in fact be the identity you believe is yours. Not because it's evil, but because it's incomplete. Take a moment to reflect. Do you feel stuck, like you're grinding through life, trying to do everything right, but something still feels off? This unease starts slowly, a nagging feeling in the back of your mind, but you can't figure out what it is. You just notice that the more you try to be who you're supposed to be, the less you recognize yourself. The truth is, this is normal, and it's not your fault. From a young age, you've been told what to do and how to live. You've even been told who you are, the very fabric of your being. And now you find yourself with a job you don't like, friends you don't identify with, and goals that aren't even your own. This is what happens if you build your life on a version of you that doesn't actually exist. A version of you that was never real in the first place. But here's the real danger. If you never confront this truth, you may live your entire life trapped in someone else's idea of who you should be. You'll never discover the person you were meant to become. And the scariest part? You'll think it was your choice. So stay with me, because once you see Carl Jung's darkest truth, you'll never look at yourself the same way again. And you'll learn how to truly find who you really are. You weren't born with an identity. You were born as potential, pure energy, untamed possibility. And then slowly, they started telling you who you were. You're so well behaved. Don't say that, it's rude. Why can't you be more like your sister? Grow up. Act like an adult. Each phrase carved a rule into your mind. Each expectation became a mirror, reflecting not you, but what the world wanted to see, the shape the world wanted to force you into. Carl Jung called this the development of the persona, the mask we wear to survive social life. It helps us function, blend in, be accepted. But here's the problem. You wear that mask for so long, you forget it's a mask. You start to believe that is who you are. You become the obedient son, the hard worker, the reliable friend, the calm, agreeable person who never causes conflict. And yet, deep down, something burns. Not rage, not sadness, but a quiet ache. A hunger for a life that feels real. A version of yourself that feels honest. But you've buried it. Why? Because the world rewards the mask and punishes the person beneath it. So what happens to the parts of you that don't fit the persona? The anger you were told to suppress, the ambition they said was arrogant, the tears you were shamed for, the dreams that made you unrealistic. You don't get rid of them. They don't disappear. You repress them. You push them into a dark corner of your psyche. Jung called this space the shadow. And here's the terrifying truth. The shadow doesn't disappear. It waits. It grows in the dark, feeding off everything you deny. Have you ever exploded over something small? Sabotaged something just when it was going well? Felt an emptiness you couldn't explain, even when everything looked fine? This is your shadow speaking. It's trying to get your attention, if you would only listen. But the more you ignore it, the more power it has over you. In truth, the most perfect people are often the ones most haunted by their suppressed selves, because they've traded authenticity for approval. They've given up their potential, their dreams, and their desires. And the cost of this, the slow death of the very thing that makes them unique, their soul. If you're in your 20s, 30s, or even 40s, you'll feel this even more strongly. This is because you were raised in a world that told you vulnerability is weakness, sensitivity is shameful, success is everything, and your worth is measured by what you do, not who you are. So you built this persona to survive. You became productive, controlled, respectable. But inside, you're screaming. You scroll for hours, numb. You overthink everything. You wonder why you feel disconnected, even around friends. You don't know what you really want anymore, because every desire has been filtered through fear and judgment. And worst of all, you don't talk about it, because you think you're the only one who feels this way. But you're not alone. Millions and millions of people are just like you, stuck in the same trap, living someone else's definition of success, haunted by a shadow they've never dared to face. But Carl Jung knew there was a way out, and now it's time to explore how to break free. Carl Jung's darkest and most liberating truth was this: you do not become whole by being good. You become whole by integrating the darkness you've denied. In other words, you don't heal by pretending to be perfect. You heal by meeting the parts of yourself you've rejected and choosing to own them. This is the key to beginning to love yourself. Your anger, it might hold your power. Your sadness, it might carry your empathy and wisdom. Your ambition, it might be your path to freedom. Your shadow isn't evil. It's you unloved. It's your unhealed inner child that needs your help. And when you face it, when you accept that you're not just the mask you wear, that's when you start becoming real. Jung called this process individuation, the lifelong journey of becoming your true self. Not the self your parents wanted, not the one society applauds, but the one that feels like home in your own body. So, who are you really? You are the chaos and the calm, the dreamer and the skeptic, the lover, the fighter, the coward, and the king. You are the sum of everything you've hidden and everything you could become. And until you reclaim all of it, you're not living, you're performing. That's the lie, that you have to become someone else to be loved. When the truth is, you were born enough, but you forgot. Because they taught you to survive, not to live. So here's the challenge. Here's what you need to do, what you must do. Start small, but most importantly, start with action. There are many ways you can do this. Journaling will help you label the parts of yourself you've forgotten. Meditation will help you finally feel what you've been numbing all these years. And finding like-minded people will help you feel loved for who you are, not what you do. This isn't an easy process, and it's not for the faint of heart, but I can promise you it will be worth it. Then, once you've started your journey, it's time to stop asking yourself what the world wants from you, and ask yourself, what do I want for me? Because until you do, you're not choosing your life, you're accepting the one handed to you. Carl Jung warned that the most dangerous thing is not the evil in others, it's the unlived life within ourselves. You can't kill the lie by running from it. You kill it by seeing it, by owning it, and becoming what you were always meant to be. And now that you've seen the truth, the only question left is, are you ready?